Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. This is Cam, a Stoic Soldier. Hope everyone's having a fantastic day. Happy Sunday. Hope you guys have had a fantastic week. And as promised, making sure I'm posting at least one video every single week at the absolute minimum, making sure that I'm staying committed to myself and to this promise that I've made to myself as well as several others. And I hope that you guys are doing the same. This has been a project I've been wanting to work on for quite some time. And again, I hope that you guys are, no matter how minimal the steps, doing something that's ultimately going to contribute to who or what you want to become long term in the future, and hoping that you guys are going to be able to accomplish that. Cool. So, diving into the video today, talking a little bit more about emotional control, our perspective, how that dictates almost the entire course of our life, if not entirely. Okay, I know in previous videos we talked a lot about reacting versus responding and how crucial it is to understand these concepts, especially in this day and age, because especially when you react. Now, talking about the word reaction for a second, reaction is very synonymous with the word trigger. That's like an emotional jolt. It's like somebody shocked you out of nowhere and you're just completely discombobulated by what happened. Okay? And then next thing you know, the first feeling that comes to mind, that's what just shoots out of you. And doing that at the wrong place and at the wrong time, especially around the wrong crowd of people, that can be extremely detrimental. That can very well make or break certain individuals in this day and age. Now, again, as we talked about in the past, we cannot suppress any emotions. As the famous saying goes, whatever you try to resist will eventually persist. The more you try to fight it, the worse it gets. And that goes with anything, especially with the way you feel, though. Okay? And by no means is it going to be sunshine and rainbows every day, but it's also not going to be dark clouds and storms all day. Again, going back to the concept of duality, there's always going to be those two opposing forces. There's always going to be light, dark, negative, positive. We already know that by now. And our emotions are all the same. It's about allowing the two to coexist with each other in harmony. And us being part of the universe, we have to do the exact same. We're no different. Now, it's especially times like these where Jungian psychology comes into play. Carl Jung, as we know, was popularized and most well known for his idea of the shadow. You know, the part of us, not necessarily the bad part of us, but the dark side of us, or the part that we hide from the world, the part that we don't want others to see. And even though they generally don't see it, that doesn't mean that they're not there. Every human being who has ever walked the face of the planet has another half. You know, you can almost think of it as an alter ego. Those who try to hide from it, it ends up just coming back tenfold. And a lot of times we try to hide it because we feel that shame, we feel that embarrassment towards it. We react to certain situations or certain individuals, to what people say, to things that happen to us that don't end up going our way because of a certain judgment, because of a certain interpretation, because of a certain attachment that we have to ourselves, to our pride, to the way that we feel about certain things. And then when things don't go the way we planned in our head, that's when we end up losing control. That's when we end up, you know, the train ends up going off the track. We're not able to steer the way that we normally would. So, like we talked about before, how the way that we think, the way that we interpret things, the way that we perceive how things in our life are supposed to be, that usually dictates our emotions. And as Marcus Aurelius has wisely mentioned on numerous occasions in multiple different quotes, an individual who looks to external circumstances for his own satisfaction is going to be doomed to fail. There are things we can control, there are things we cannot control. The one that we can control is ourselves, our mind first and foremost. And that usually sets other things in motion. So by you allowing, or any of us, because I've done it myself again, allowing outside circumstances to dictate the trajectory of your life and how you feel about certain things, that's going to lead to your downfall. And that's going to lead to one cataclysmic, catastrophic event after another. So it really just comes with your own comfortability, with your insecurities, with your doubts, with your fears, because as I said, we all have them. And a human being that tells you that they don't, they're lying to themselves above all, as well as you, as well as everyone else. But it's about owning them. It's about being comfortable with them. Now, going back to that, to the idea of reacting to certain things, we usually react to a situation because it ends up exposing something in us that we didn't want others to see. It exposes a certain weakness. You know, if somebody comments about your clothes again, or if somebody comments about the way that you walk, somebody comments about your job, somebody comments about the car that you drive, any of those things get to you, just like we talked about before, it's either one of two things. Either is it true, or who's saying it, and what relevance do they have? Are they a valid source? The only time that you would end up jumping to that knee-jerk reaction is if you, in some way, feel insecure about what you do. You feel insecure about your lifestyle. Something about you just doesn't feel right. So at that point, you have one of two options. You can either live with it and accept it, or you do what you can to remedy it. And again, finding peace and acceptance is the most comfortable thing, because no two individuals are ever going to be alike. That is something that you have to come to terms with, and it's not necessarily a bad thing. But the way that you judge yourself, the way that you perceive yourself, and how you feel is going to dictate how others do. And it's also going to dictate how you react to certain circumstances, or respond in this case. When you allow them to get to you, then you're just showing how much they actually mean to you. You're showing how much they actually impact you on a day-to-day basis. And by allowing yourself to have total and complete indifference and just letting go of that, you're setting yourself free, and above all, you're making yourself that much more almost invincible to certain circumstances and situations. I mean, obviously they're going to have an impact, but when they happen, or when somebody else makes a comment, when they see that it just has no effect on you, it's like shooting a 9mm bullet at a ghost. They're going to think twice about doing that. Not only is it a waste, but they realize that they made a foolish mistake of trying to take someone down who cannot be taken down, trying to defeat and bury someone who cannot be defeated or buried. You have to ask yourself, which man is more scary? Which man is the one that you should generally fear? The man who can kill, or the man who can't die? The man who's crushed and conquered and destroyed numerous others, or the one that numerous others have failed to do so with? The man who can't be faced. The man who can't be brought down. That is the one that people are going to think twice about. Because even the man who destroys, the man who kills, the man who causes harm, he can be defeated. He's been on offense this whole time. We haven't bothered to see what kind of defense he has, to see what kind of resilience he has, see what kind of durability he has. But the man who can't be brought down to begin with, they think to themselves, I just gave him my best shot. I don't think I want to see his. I think I'm going to dip out. So you guys got to own whatever it is that you feel, and detach yourself from these situations and their potential outcomes, are the ones that you had in your head. You know, whether it was a boss that was promising you something and they didn't end up pulling through with it, you have one of two options at that point. Accept it, or you nod your head, you say thank you for your time, you walk away, and you find a place that does value you. You're not going to throw a fit because you've invested time, you've invested energy, you poured your blood, sweat, and tears into it. Maybe it's justified, but now the ball's in your court. Now you have the right to dictate how the next part of your life goes. You always did. And even if you put it in somebody else's hands, you still have full autonomy to change your mind at any time and say, this is not how I want things to go. This life of yours, this is your movie. You are the director and you're the cameraman, which means two things. You are the one in control, you are the one in charge, and you can choose where the spotlight goes. Even though multiple things are going to be happening at once, even though in the background of all the main characters and all the scenery, there's going to be extras, there's going to be other things happening, but where's your focus going to be? Is it going to be on that guy walking on the street, talking on the phone, yelling and screaming over a business deal that went wrong? Or is it going to be on the star of the show? Who do you want the star of the show to be? Cool. That's it for today, guys. Thank you again so much for watching. Hope you guys are having a fantastic rest of your day, and hope you guys have a great week to start off. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and more content to come very soon. Cool? Take care, guys.